Father, I thank you for this day. Thanks for the time when we can gather together, Father, with friends and enjoy a program of sport that we love. We just thank you for the beauty of nature, Father, and for all of your many blessings that you've given us so freely. We thank you for loving us, Father. Forgive us our sins in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we got a new member, Burley Johnson. Please stand. Let everybody see what it looks like. Welcome, Burley. Drove all the way from Nacogdoches. Had to use the GPS to find Alexandria. Okay, membership report.
Membership report. Okay, so we currently have 103 members on the roster with 37 who have not renewed their membership as of yet. And so with our newest member, that puts us at 104 members with 37 that have not renewed their membership yet.
37 have not renewed.
That's correct.
Okay, we'll send out the
We'll send out an email.
bill collectors. Financial report.
So for the Saturday event, we took in a total of we had a total of $2,558. Then you need to subtract out the 200 that we had for cash, so that puts it at 2,358. Expenses, we had $248 for lunch, and then we had a vendor that had $600 for
And so the net was what?
the net was 1,510.
Not bad. Have we written a check to the food bank yet?
No, we don't know how much.
We need to have a board meeting first.
Okay.
And that's one of the things on my agenda tonight.
And then the total in our bank account, I was trying to get into Red River and it won't let me in, but it's a little over 65, I think. It's between 65 and 77 is our total. I think somewhere around there.
And for those of you who are new and don't realize, we have contributed close to half, I think, of everything we took in as profit and donated it to the food bank.
We usually give them $750.
We gave them 1,000 last time.
Oh, we did.
Yeah. So, but that was a bigger attendance and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So, Burley, I know you don't know this, but we use the Keys Park facility for no charge. The caveat is that you make a contribution to a charity, and we picked out the food bank. Yeah, and I can't believe that we still got people that are like that over in Pineville. That's good. It's really a generous thing they do. And they set up the place for us and everything. It's good. Okay, I added a couple of things. I sent the calendar of events, future events out. You should have all gotten it in your email. A couple of things I added. One I added today. I talked to Chris Williams this past week a little bit, and he's going to come in for the April 25th meeting and give a presentation on 25 on the fly. And it's, you may know more about it than I do, Bill, but it's about, I think, 25 species anywhere. It's not restricted like the mixed bag is. So those of you guys that go to Oregon and places like that fishing, and Chrissy, your brown trout would count in there, but I think you got to pay an entry fee as well. Chris has participated last year, and he should be an interesting talk. And also the March 14th TBD fly tying is confirmed as the A&W, which is a good little mow fly. That's about all. Oh, the other thing that I want to bring up is I talked to Roger Breedlove today about our casting clinics that we had every Monday. And we think he thought it'd be a good idea to pick that up. when daylight savings kicks in. Daylight savings kicks in, I think, on March the 13th. Is that right? Okay. So we look forward to that. Any questions so far on the current events coming up?
March 28th meeting is gonna be the spring picnic.
That's
at
correct.
Oak Hill Lake.
Yeah. And everybody who got this list here ought to be reading that. Okay. Anyway, what that is, Burley, is we meet and have a picnic at Coteal Lake. I think it officially starts around 6 p.m. Our cook is none other than Cash Cormier. The club provides a lot of meat and drinks, and some of the drinks, some of the water and stuff, and people can bring their own stuff too. But that's one thing we have to discuss at a board meeting. Now, I know we've got 7 board members here tonight. We need a venue better than Beans and Cream because we can't count on being able to bring that many tables together. And it's too spread out. We got too many sidebars going. People can't hear what's going on. So if anybody has got an idea where we can meet at a time, and Keith said something about meeting at 5 o'clock somewhere and ending at 6, but that's probably too early for a lot of people. So if we can find a place where we can meet. Now, I already checked the library, the small room, that thing is booked up tight almost forever, especially in the evenings. So, yes, ma'am.
My home is centrally located and I'm the only person there, so we could meet there.
Do you have room for about 12 people to sit down?
Yes. I live right behind Tractor Supply off of MacArthur Drive.
Okay,
So it's
That's-
always available.
all right, that'd be great then. I'll coordinate with you
Okay.
because I don't want to, you may have something going on one night or something, say, hey,
We can make it work.
okay. Thank you sincerely from everybody. If my wife will let people in the house. Ours is too small anyway. Okay, thank you. Who's taking minutes? Anybody? Okay, great, thanks. So fly casting, cranking back up. Everybody know where Big Island is? Most of you do. Burley, you probably don't. But it's in the, I'll send something to you if you're interested in that. We've got there's a new gold medal challenge, right, Chris? Yes. We got that set up, okay. All right, so mixed bag report.
We've had 31 entries so far. Again, Chris Williams has jumped way out there. He has 12 of those. Next place is 6, and then several 3s and 2s and 1s.
Okay. Any unusual species or?
Unusual species,
suckers,
let's see. Skipjack herring. Let me guess who that was. Wasn't you? It must have been Carlton then.
Hadn't got my hog sucker.
Hadn't got your hog sucker yet. No, it's pretty standard stuff. Spotted bass, bluegill, flounder, redfish, bass, red spotted sunfish, crappie. Pretty much standard, yeah.
Okay. So the mixed bag is, has nothing to do with how big the fish is. Are you familiar with the mixed bag that we did? It's how many species you can catch, and it's designed to get people out fishing. Not supposed to be cutthroat competition style. It's, you know, if you catch a fish somewhere, you want to help somebody out, go for it, you know.
We've only had 9 people submit fish so far. Of course, it's only a couple of months into the year, but we have changed. Remember, we have changed the awards to where we're expanding the quote consolation prizes to have more of those, and the people who win the 1 through 5 awards are not eligible for the consolation. So and you get the same number of tickets as the number of fish you submit. So if you submit 5 fish, you get 5 drawing tickets to the consolation draw.
I think, rainbow trout still biting up the National Park. No. I caught a couple, 2 trips up there, but the last trip I made, I didn't catch a single one.
I rode down to the pond the other day and bank fishing over just everywhere. I just said, no, put the fly rod back up. Combat fishing. I'm not going there.
Is anybody fishing at, Fort Randolph, I wonder? I drove over there yesterday, but it was late.
I went over there the day, Phil and I went over there the day they stopped it. And we didn't catch a thing, either one of us. There was one guy there that was leaving when we got there. He caught about 3. I did see one. It was, he was along right in front of me, and I watched him and dropped a fly right on top of him, so and even had time to change to a different fly. Nothing. I haven't even heard anybody other than that one guy that's talking about it. It's picky. It's a difficult place to fly to.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the trees.
And you gotta get out, you need to wait, because you gotta get out around.
You know, they used to cut that grass along the levee there, but they,
I was gonna go
They
in
don't.
Baton Rouge on Burbank the week they were supposed to do it, and I went by Orvis before I went, and he told me that it rained, so they didn't stop it that day. So
Oh,
they're
really?
worried the fish were gonna get wet.
Huh. On a side note, my wife went to a quilting show up in Monroe this past weekend. And she came back. Well, too many things, but there was a strip of leather about this long, and it was made out of fish skin. And the guy that did it was up there. I wasn't there, of course. Well, shows don't interest me that much. But she said, really an interesting guy. He'd asked this fisherman for 5 pounds of fish skins. It was a commercial fisherman. And then when it was delivered to him, it was 25 pounds of fish skin. And this was some kind of trout. The skin's about that long, the leather. And it's cut behind the head, and the tail's all, there's no fins or anything on it. Pretty interesting. And it's tough. I mean, I just took it, grabbed it. It's just as tough as belt leather. I don't know what they did to it to make it like that. But anyways, she's got some plans for it. Put it in a box or something, and they're gonna fly. Saltwater. Robert, anything?
We haven't met this year, so.
Okay. Any other fishing reports?
The little Mo is hot.
Oh, it wasn't when I was up there.
Oh, this past weekend.
The fishing is hot.
What you catching them on, Carl?
Some days, insects, like a Long Creek, guys, choice airs there, pretty cheap. Some days, what we call a mad dog is, that's like a feather jig almost, marabou jig.
That's
Different
Rick,
colors.
that's Rick Maddox that developed that.
Yeah,
did you try that olive Long Creek?
no.
Why not?
Let's kick him off the pro staff.
No squirming,
This time, no, not this time.
no squirming.
You did.
Did? How many guys we got on remote?
On Zoom, we have 4 on Zoom right now.
Well, let's see.
You want to catch king pickerel, that's pretty active right now.
Where-
This afternoon.
Where were they? Where were they active?
In the shallows, it's just fine grass.
All over Coattail?
Yeah,
The reason I ask is Flip wants to get up and get where he can catch a few of them, just get into them.
yeah.
So I might be talking to you about that just to get him up here. He's
Okay.
got a lot of issues he's working with right now, other things, but,
I can tell you where to go.
okay, that'd be good.
Probably a lot of grass in your area too. Yeah, that's a pretty good spot.
Okay, any other inputs on anything before we get into tying knots? All right,
Oh, one last thing. The Gulf Coast Council is going to hold its annual Sweetwater Classic in Percy Queen State Park in Macomb, Mississippi. Not this Saturday, coming Saturday, but the following Saturday. And it's kind of a fly fishing festival contest, fishing contest as well. There's a big brim contest on Friday afternoon. It's $5 cash. And then there's a bass fishing tournament the next day. You can fish Lake Tangipahoa, which is inside the park, or you can fish Lake Mary Crawford, which is about 45 minutes away. A fishery lake, which they manage. And so it produces a lot of big. Back in November in there. So as last year, the two classic tournament board right there, Percy Quinn State Park, both of them over 20 inches. So
the bass,
yes.
Yeah.
Division. And one of them was caught. Photographed it.
where? Fishing license. Now, of the Fly Fishers International, and that since it was a state park, he didn't. Came up behind me. Got a fishing license. Said, nope, don't need one. To me, that wasn't correct.
Mississippi confused. Park, you don't need a license.
And in Texas, then you're over 60 or 65. You want to?
Yeah.
Yeah. The rest of that story was, he didn't give me a, go down and talk to Catch. Said, y'all got to stop.
It wasn't me.
Brad Haney is the one who told me that.
Well, and catch it.
Oh, yeah, Red
Red
Stick
Stick is this weekend.
Fly in Baton Rouge. Refuge, which is fisheries, and they have 2 ponds out there. You can fish. One of them is going to have a kayak demo by Masses Outfitters. They have Hobies and Natives and other boats, and you'll be able to go out there and test the boats out. If you go to their website, which I happen to manage like this one, is rsff.org, and you'll see the schedule of events. It's going to kayak fishing too. It's going to do a presentation that morning on kayak fishing in marsh. Kevin Andre Yeoman. I'm going to give a presentation. Bass fishing.
Is that on Saturday?
Just giving a presentation.
25.
Yeah, okay.
They find. So that at Waddell Refuge in Baton Rouge. And it runs from 8:30 to 2:30, well, about 2:15, they can do the raffle. They have a big raffle like ours over there. And you'll see some really nice flies in here because they have Kirk Dietrich and Ted Cavalli and some guys that we don't have our event will be there.
So where is Waddell Refuge?
It's if you're going on the interstate toward Denham Springs,
Okay,
you turn off on at O'Neill Lane,
Mhm.
and head north, make a turn, and then it's about 2 miles.
Okay, so it's outside of Baton Rouge. Okay.
Well, it's actually in Baton Rouge,
Yes,
but
it's right.
Oh, is it really?
it's on the fringe of Baton Rouge.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's easy to get to. The hardest part is crossing that bridge. That's the hardest part.
Which one?
The back.
Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They
yeah.
shut down
No,
the
but if you go there early in
They
the
did it
morning,
today.
if you go there early in the morning and you're going back home in the
Go the
afternoon,
old bridge.
you don't have to worry about it, especially since it's not. a
Which
work
bridge
day.
they shut down?
Well, shut down, they're constructing, like the next 2 years, shut down one lane of one side of I-10, right past the bridge there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Massive.
But it's a great
massive
event, it's
traffic.
free admission, kind of like, it was the blueprint for ours, basically, so.
Okay, also, there's, Cindy was telling me that we've got some people there where the money came in during the festival, and some people that are marked out and maybe not having paid the dues, probably paid them. We had one check that bounced, but that we don't need to talk about that right now. It's probably an innocent mistake. So if there's nothing else, Robert and Chris, it's over to you. Are we supposed to have any string down here?
Did everybody get a handout? Okay. All right. Now, the handouts are organized. When Robert sent me the knots that he thought was important, lo and behold, when I started writing them down, I realized that he had used an order from the fly line down to the fly. So since it didn't make any sense to reinvent the wheel, I stuck my preferred knots in the same process. That's how this is organized. I will send everybody this document by email. And all you have to do is click on the links and a YouTube video of how to tie this knot will come up. It's magic. Exactly. So, Robert is going to start off, number one, with a perfection loop. And, Robert, do you have anything you want to describe? I mean, you got to say about perfection loop? Go ahead.
This is great.
All right. So y'all see this piece of line? Okay. All right, so the first knot that we have on the agenda is the perfection. And the purpose of the perfection loop that as far as what I use is to connect the leader to the fly line. If you have a fly line with a loop on it, and you have a leader that if you buy a tape with leader, they typically have a loop on it. And you do is a loop-to-loop connection, interlock the two loops together. Sometimes you buy leaders that do not have a loop on. And so if you want to add a loop, this would be to not do that. Or if you build your own leaders, which many people do, starting with different sizes of leader material, then you would start off at the top of the leader with a section loop. Now, Chris has put together this agenda. He also has references to YouTube videos that you can look at, which also shows these particular knots. The way I do it, it may not be exactly like the, video is, but it should be pretty similar. But what I start with, if I have a line, hopefully you can see this, there's gonna be the top part of a leader. You want to tie a knot, a loop knot in the top of it. What I do is I take the long, say this is the long end, I put that in the left hand end. And what I do is I reverse the, go behind the, and my fingers. And then I adjust the size of that, however, whatever size I want it. But I'm gonna make it this size. And then I come in and I make another behind both of them. If you can see that. And I have two loops. See that? Can y'all see that? And then you take this lead material, the end of the leader, and I just split the two together, go right between them, reach in there and pull that together. And that is the loop. Is that showing up?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, that was way too fast for me.
Okay, I'll do it a little slower. I'm gonna do it on the other end. Okay, starting with the end, I make my first loop. I go behind the line and make a loop. Okay, there's my loop, so it's tag. Then I take and I go again behind both of them, and I make a smaller loop and piece together with my fingers. And then I take this end and I say, so I've got two loops, one short one and one long one. And I just pull this line between the two, like that. And then I reach in and pull the smaller loop through the bigger loop. And that is a selection loop.
Yeah, probably would. Something that's not that dark red, it's hard to see.
Okay, let's try a chartreuse.
That might be a little easier, or the chartreuse.
Well, it's gonna have to be stiff. It's not, this backing
Yeah,
won't do the way I do it.
maybe the bright red.
All right,
It's a little smaller.
all right. Can you see the bright red any better?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll try that.
Right there. Cool.
Okay, can you see that better? So I'm gonna make the loop and just fold the loop behind. I go behind the loop, the line, and I pinch it. See that? Anybody see that? Then I take it and I go in front of it and then behind it again and pinch it. Okay? And then so I've got the small loop and the larger loop, and then I bring this line between the two like that. And then I take and pull the smaller loop through the larger loop like that. Got it?
I was watching.
Your tag is. Nope.
Well, maybe.
I do it like that.
That's okay. Already got the tag.
I get the first two. So once I get, so I got a second.
If you're on the river, you can't bump my face. They'll assume, pull it real tight. Snip it up. Try to-
Actually, no, that's the thing, I keep forgetting how to do this. I only use it for the butt section. And so I only got to do it once every year.
Roll it in behind there. And I go over it.
It's a great dog.
Yeah.
I still use it that often.
Good.
Yeah.
I can do it after I look it up.
I don't use this knife.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I use-
Carlton, why do you think there are links to the YouTubes?
Fishing's over now.
Okay.
Oh, that's what
Well, let's go to the library, we'll be saying that we let off this right side.
Then you push the video.
Well, that's exactly. Then you go in front. Now pull it down on the side. And go in real tight.
Between the two.
Yes. Through there. And you pull that front one out.
Nice. It's great extremes. Yes.
A wiggle loop?
You don't have that one?
A wiggle loop?
No, but.
Well, and there's a,
Okay, all right.
there's a, I don't know.
Okay, hey, Bill.
It leaves a loop.
Can I get you to do
No, it's here. This on, yeah.
So the cross here, reach it right out.
That's what you. Come on, man. Down there. I can't do it.
What are you getting ready to do, Chris?
I'm gonna do a, let's see, a nail knot. Nail knot. Okay.
All right, new knot, y'all, new knot.
New knot. New knot. Now, the impetus that taught me where I learned how to use or how to make a nail knot is because the first thing I did when I had this brand new ballistic pearl fly line is I threw it up in a tree and got it stuck. And we were actually over at the firing range, and I pulled on it and pulled on it and pulled on it, and pulled the nice loop off of my $89 fly line. So I had to learn how to make a nail knot. So easy enough to do though. Let's start out with, it's a compression knot, okay? And let's just start out with the same monofilament that we have been using. This is
It doesn't show up
the,
very good.
the red
This does not show up.
does not show up, okay? Does this red?
Yep, that one
Show
shows
up.
up much better.
Okay, all right, we'll use this one.
Okay.
Well, we can figure that. So the thing to do is start out with the tool, okay? And this is a clinch knot tool that actually has a nail knot tying tool at the end of it. I know. So the thing you do is you lay your fly line into the groove on your knot tying tool and you start rotating backwards. Okay. And typically you put 5 rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then put your finger on the line to keep it from coming out and slide. Okay. And you slide your fly line back through your groove in your knot tying tool. Then you take your fly line itself and you push it up into the knot tying tool. And you don't have to push it very far because this is an expensive fly line and you don't want to cut off large pieces of it. And you just push it on up. And if this was fly line, it would go through. There we go. And then you just slide the loops off onto your fly line and pinch them. Then you pull your running line and then your tag line until you create a compression knot across or onto your fly line. Then you can straighten it up with your fingernails, push things together. You pull tight and you take your scissors and you clip your tag ends off. And you have a strong connection between your fly line and your leader material right there. Can you see that? No. That's all there is to it. Now you can make it prettier if you can push the wraps together with your nails, but that's it right there. There's a lot of different types of nail knot tools that are out there. This happens to be a clinch knot tool that has one. There's also Dr. Slick makes one that attaches to the nippers as well. It'll work the same way. And all you do is you put your fly or your leader material through that slice right there in the tube. You rotate back, you hold it on there, then you put your fly line in and slip it off and then tighten your knot down. There are a lot of different types of knot or nail knot tools that are out there. Some people strictly use a nail and it works. But the good thing about it is it'll make a strong connection between your fly line and your leader material, so you won't have to keep tying things off. So that's the nail knot.
Chris?
Sir.
That, a nail knot will slip through your guides easier than the loop on your leader will too.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Because it doesn't have the bulk. I mean, it's a very, very small, and when we get to the blood knot, that's also true. You know, there, but yes, exactly right. Thank you, Carl.
Is that the same thing as that little bead thing?
Yes, it is. Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, I think we're ready to go to a double Duncan uni knot.
This is the line to you.
He said this doesn't show up well.
Okay.
But do you want to use two different colors? Because there's red and green. Do you want to do that?
Thanks, Lou. Yeah, I do it with a straw. Straw. Yeah.
No, you're not gonna have.
Okay, y'all ready for the next knot?
Yep.
Okay, so the next knot is called the double Duncan knot. And the purpose of that knot is to tie two pieces of line together, okay? If you're building a leader or if you're adding on to a tippet or whatever you're doing. So I have two colored lines to sort of show you how that works. It's basically you tie the knot twice and pull it together. So the first of all, you get about 5 or 6 inches of line together, and you start in, and you take it and you make a loop out of the line, leaving yourself a sufficient tag in there, and then you're gonna wrap around both lines, this line of the green and the red, 4 or 5 times, and sort of cinch it down. So if you can see what I'm doing. I'm going around both lines. About 4 times, okay? And then I'm gonna take both the red and the green, and I'm gonna just sort of cinch that down. You're supposed to wet it, but I'm not gonna wet it. Sort of loosely cinch it down. I'm not tightening it up yet, okay? All right. So that's the one half of the knot, okay? Now, a lot of people take this thing and they use their left hand and they do basically the reverse of that. Well, I don't do that. I turn it around and I do the same knot again with my right hand. So now I'm taking the green line. I guess I used the red line to go around last time. I don't. Yeah. So I'm gonna take the green line and go around and make my loop again. And then I'm gonna go around it. 1, around both lines, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm gonna pull that together. Okay, so now if you see I have 2 knots that are tied the same way, and then I'm gonna take my lines and pull them together. Let's see which way it goes. Confusing. See if that'll. I'm gonna have to start over. I forgot which one I did. Let's see. Nope. Nope. All right, I'm gonna have to do something different here. It's not working.
I don't even know.
All right, I'm gonna start over. And longer piece of line.
It's great for, we have 2 different materials.
Do I?
Like braid and mono and floral. Or when you have a big differentiation between your size of your front material and the leader material.
Okay, I'm gonna start over here. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start over with the red line going around the green line.
Not going to work.
It's cold.
Okay, switch it around and take the green.
I always do 2. Let's see,
Okay, you see how I've got them now? The 2 different knots. I think the mistake I made last time, I took the same material and went around both of them. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna pull it down. As I get them closer together, and I'm gonna take the tag ends and tighten the knots up a little bit. Okay, and then finish pulling them together.
Now, one thing about that, union knot that you tied right there, your tag ends come off going the other direction.
Right.
You know, they come off the end of the knot as opposed to the center of the knot.
What was this again?
If it comes out like that, you know you did it right.
Okay, another thing that just for information, this works real well when it's similar sized lines. But if you've got a heavy line and a smaller line, like redfishing, I went on a trip this past fall, and I had 60-pound leader material, just straight 60-pound leader, and I dropped it to a 15-pound. Okay, so this knot won't work too well with that. So what I do, and Davey Watton showed me what to do there, is you take the heavy line and you tie an overhand knot in the end of it. You take the smaller line, you run it through the center of the overhand knot, then you tighten it down, and then you do the Dunkin' knot with a smaller line above the heavy knot, and then you pull it together, and it basically, instead of cinching together, it cinches against the overhand knot, and it seems to work better when you have a very dissimilar line sizes. Okay, any questions about that one? Okay, what we got now, Chris? You're gonna do the blood knot. I can't tie the blood knot.
Well, I learned how to tie the blood knot when I got this idea that I was gonna make my own leaders. Like somebody said, I've got the price down to about $10 a liter now. Because but the good thing about blood knots is it is also something that you can use to connect two different sized leader materials. One thing you may find is that just since the blood, it's almost like two clinch knots that you tie together. But if you do this and you do it properly with a heavier line, you may only make 3 rotations with the heavier line, and you may make 4 rotations with the smaller line. But that's, you just have to work that out for yourself. So you start out just by crossing the lines themselves, and for today's demonstration, can y'all see that on the screen? Am I too high or too low? Okay. You got a suggestion, Bill? Do I need to go to a bigger line?
Maybe move the paper out from under. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're crossed over. So what we'll do is we'll make just 3 rotations. The red line, the tag end of the red line going over the green line. 1, 2, and third time. And then you take your tag in and you dive into the place that you had the lines held together. Okay. And you just hold with your finger and hold all that together. Now, on the other side, you do the exact opposite. Instead of going over, you go under. And you do this 1, 2, 3 times. And this time, when you come up with your tag in, you go up through the center section. Instead of going down, you go up. All right. So now all you do is you pull with the outer section. You pull them. And can you guys see it coming together now? Okay. And all you do is you just pull them together. And on these, you'll see that the tag ends come off in the center as opposed to the end as it does with the uni knot. Okay. This is a great knot to tie if you're sitting at your desk at home. Not so good when you're standing in Little Missouri and your gloves are frozen, you're frozen, and you can't tie it. But you can clip it off real close, and this will go through the eyes on your fly line quite nicely. Okay. Now that's the original way to tie a blood knot. It's strong, it works, it's a good way to connect different sizes of tippet material. Now there's an easier way to do this. It's a cheat. It's not exactly the same blood knot. I found this on the internet, and the link is also in the, it's on the paper that everybody will get. And the first thing you do is you just take your 2 tag ends. You don't even cross them over or anything like that. You take your 2 tag ends and you tie a knot in them. Just a small overhand knot. Just like that. Okay. Now you take your fly line, your 2 materials, and you overlap them, and then you just start with your fingers and you go 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. Your hands can be cold, it can be wet, you can be freezing, all of this stuff. And then you just reach over and you pull with your teeth, and then you can pull the whole thing together, and you've tied what's called a modified blood knot. You clip it off real close. And it's a great way to connect tippet materials, and it's strong.
So the things that you were just, putting together are the tag ends or the,
Yes, yes.
so you twist both of them?
Just tie them together.
I did that.
Okay. Okay, I'll tie it again.
And this is the next section. I was too busy trying to go overhead knot.
That's okay. It's all
By the
right.
time I get done, the fish are gonna be done fighting and everybody's going to eat lunch.
Well, I got you. Okay, so you just take your two ends of your leader material. Okay. Just tie a knot in it, just a little square knot, overhand knot, whatever you want to call that knot. My hands are shaking and I'm not doing a real good job the second time around, but I'll get it. Okay, got my knot tied. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to clip that off a little bit closer so I don't have quite so much hanging out there. Take it apart, overlap them, and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You do as many as you want, really. You just reach through with your teeth.
I can't see you.
Yeah.
Show us it. Put your face down there.
Okay. All I'm doing with my teeth is just pulling that tag end up through that hole and then tightening
The
through.
tag end being whether you tie the overhand knot in.
Correct. Correct. Because those are the 2
But when
tags.
you're overlapping, what are you overlapping them against?
Each other
But just on the running end or the tag? end?
on the running end.
And then,
I'm holding them apart with my fingers, and I'm just climbing a ladder with it, really, is all I'm
and
doing.
then once you get that done several times, then what do you do?
You get this tag end up through the hole between the 2 of them. You just pull it apart. And I can,
You're running the tag ends in the same way instead of.
Yes. yes. So they come out on the other side. So again, what I'll do is I will tie the tag ends together. Okay. Take this, turn it over, and you just climb 2, 3, 4, 5, do it 6 times, 7. You just pull those tags through. You pull with your running line. Don't pull too tight or you'll break it. And it pulls it together.
Okay.
Did it work for you that time?
Yeah.
Just takes a few times through it. You know.
Twist it. Cool.
Yeah. One more time with this.
Chris, I
Sir.
think a wise investment is a pair of 2x magnifying reading glasses. Keep them in your pocket or desk when you're in the river. This really helps.
Well, what's the name of that fancy lamp that you had, that you bought? The fluorescent lamp that you bought with a magnifying glass on it?
Like,
Yeah, an light. That's what I have at
you
home.
keep that in your desk.
No. But I've done this enough that I can do it. You know, as long as the wind's not blowing real bad, I can do it. You know, it just takes a little practice.
Okay, but what is the advantage of the blood knot over a double uni knot?
Okay,
Size.
yes, it is smaller. Okay. It does go through, or they say that it goes through the guides on the fly line, and on the second, there is a comparison YouTube on the page that I am gonna that you have right here, and that guy says that the blood knot is a stronger knot. He puts it on some sort of machine and he says that. You know what? If your double uni is working, use it. I mean, fish don't know. As long as the knot's working for you.
The blood knot is stronger if your lines are more compatible in size. Once you get over a certain difference, then the uni knot. And
Okay.
of course, if you have two different materials, then you have to use the uni knot, like fluorocarbon and mono. You know, it's not as good as sort of blood knot. Blood knot will actually slip out of it.
So, everybody okay? All right. So now we're on to the surgeon's knot. Yeah, our surgeons didn't come to the meeting tonight.
My surgeon buddies, when I told Mr. Surgeon, they said, no, they didn't know. There's no such thing, no.
They probably tied and don't even think about it, right? They tied just, and probably at 10 times the speed that we can tie too.
Stable.
Probably once a day, now they staple everything.
Yeah.
Or you both of them were.
Okay, so as we,
Outside you, trying never gets.
So reasons other
okay, as we move down the leader from the loop to the leader knots, now we get down to the smaller lines toward the tippet, we begin to get to what is referred to, and still tying two pieces of line together. For example, as you know, you fish and cut off change flies, your material keeps getting shorter and shorter. So if you want to add some length back to it, go from a 5X down to a 6X or something like that, you take two pieces of line that you want to extend. So I have it here, two pieces of line, a red one and a green one. So you put them together, just like we do all the rest of them. You see, I've got two lines. So the surgeon's knot is basically an overhand knot with the two lines together. And you do it 2 times. And make sure you pull both ends all the way through, okay? Not just one, but both ends all the way through. And you do that again, and this works real well for the monofilament lines. If you get to and then you just basically wet it and cinch it down. And there you have 2 lines tied together, okay? It's basically 2 overhand knots with both the tag end and the running line that you're extending. If you're using monofilament, I would suggest you add a third loop to it and basically do a triple surgeon's knot.
If you're using fluorocarbon.
Fluorocarbon, excuse me, instead of the monofilament. But the two loops works fine with the mono. If you got the harder fluorocarbon, just add an extra one, and it works real well. Any questions about that knot? It's probably the simplest knot we have. Okay.
The next one was the Davy.
Oh, get me to do that?
Well,
Okay,
that's how it ended up,
okay,
and I'll do the clenching.
all right, well, I got so much line here. So the Davy knot is a knot for tying basically you can use it for a lot of different things, but it's primarily for tying your fly on to the end of your tippet, okay? This knot is named, I guess, invented by Davy Watton out of Arkansas on the White River, well-known fisherman up there and elsewhere. And he does it in two forms. One is the regular Davy knot, and then he also does what he calls a double Davy knot, which I use for fluorocarbon. And on the so what you do is you thread your line through the eye of your fly, and then you make a loop. And I do this one in this fashion. Just pull it up behind me and pinch it together. You go around the top line, back under and through the bottom line. And I'll see if I can do that where we can see it. And you can do it however you can get it through there. And then you hold on to the tag end and you pull it together like that. And then to make sure it's correct, it needs to finish at a 90-degree angle. Okay. If it finishes off to the side, you need to correct it up a little bit by pulling on the tag end until it finishes at a 90-degree angle. And that works for small flies. It's a really good dry fly because it's such a small profile. It works on small diameter. It will not work on a hook this size. If I were to pull that right now, I could pull it out. It just pulls out. It does not work on big hooks. It only works on very small hooks, probably number 12 and down. So I'm going to demonstrate it again, and I'm going to do the double just to see if it'll hold on this big line, this big hook. And a double is you just go make another loop over the top. That's the way most people do it. I do actually do another one, which is a triple, I guess, triple Davy knot. Pull it down, cinch it down, and it does not slip when you add another loop to it. I can't pull that apart like I did the first one. And I use that for fluorocarbon, and it obviously it'll work for the bigger hook eyes. Now that one you need to practice because I lose so many flies. I do it dozens of times a day on the river, changing flies. All right. Does anybody have any questions about that one? You want to see it again? All right. So I've got it on there, and I double over to my, and I make a loop. Okay, you got that?
Okay.
All right, you see I've got a top line and a bottom line.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over the top one and through the loop, under the bottom one and through the loop.
Okay.
That's the regular Davy knot. Over the top one, through the loop, under the bottom one, through the loop. Pull it together. That's, you see how it didn't, how it's not 90 degrees? Y'all see that? Straighten it up to where, and then re-cinch it down, and it's at 90 degrees now. That's how it's tied.
To do a double, you just go around the bottom loop twice.
No, the true double is you just go, after you come back over under the bottom one and through, go back over the top one and through and pull it down. Just one extra loop. I didn't know. I've been tying it wrong all this time. I do over and under twice. I basically repeat the knot.
The second time through is over the running line instead of the bottom of the loop or over the bottom.
It's over the top part of the loop.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And like I said, I've been tying it wrong. I've been tying a triple Davy knot all this time. All right, you see what I'm doing here? You don't see it?
No.
Where did it go? Where'd I go? All right, I'm making my loop. Can you see it?
Yeah.
I go over, through the loop, under, through the loop. That's the Davy knot.
Yeah.
The double Davy knot is over the top loop again. And back through the loop. And like I said, I've been doing it. Another one around the bottom. I basically do the same thing, the knot twice, the full knot twice. And it's probably the quickest knot that I can tie. And it's a good knot for the size flies we use at the Little Mo, which are probably size 12 and down. Okay. All right, Chris.
Okay.
You're up. I'm done.
You're done? Now you just gotta help people pass the time.
All righty. The last two knots are clinch knots. It's the just the regular clinch knot and then the improved clinch knot. And they're great for tying flies right onto the your terminal tippet. Easy knot to tie. All you do, I'm going to tie it with this orange line. Hopefully people will be able to see it. You just put your line through, and then you end up with your running line and your tag in. You take your knot tying tool, you just put it right in between those lines, and you just make 3 or 4 rotations. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can make 5 if you want. And then you reach up here and you grab your tag in with your tool. That's it. Then all you got to do is tighten down. When your hands are frozen, this knot tying tool gets cheaper and cheaper. Now that was just a clinch knot. It's a wonderful knot to use for tying tippet on, or tying your fly onto your terminal tippet.
Wonderful knot to tie. Sometimes that knot can come out. So there is an improved clinch knot, easy to do as well. Use the same tool. You can do however many loops you want to do. You reach through, you grab that tag end, you pull it through, and then you go back through the loop, your topmost loop. Catch it. Then you release it. You pull your knot down, and it is an even stronger knot, less likely to come loose at all. So this was tied with backing material, but you can do the same thing with any one of our other tying materials that we had right here. I'll start with this little red. Damaged fly line. We'll start with some new. You go right through your loop and your fly line. Just reach up with your knot tying tool. Grab that tag in, pull it through. Cinch your knot down. That's your regular clinch knot. You don't have to use this specific fly tying tool because you can tie this same knot using a pair of forceps or a hemostat, whatever. All you have to do is you just go through again, you put it through, you reach up, you grab that tag in, you pull it through, tighten your knot down. That one broke, but occasionally that does happen. You can do it by hand too. Feed it back through. Tighten down a little bit. Didn't feed it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feed it through. There we go. And you can tie it by hand too. It's a great little knot to use. You don't need the tool, but the tool does help. All right, I think we're coming to the end of this right here, but Bill, can you get on the computer and show everybody the website? On the bottom of the handout, I have one called the website that rules them all.
I don't know that I can't, Chris, to be frank. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Chris,
Sir.
while he's doing that, I've been using, and several of us have been using tippet rings to attach your tippet to the lead of several years.
No, I can't show it.
Well,
Okay.
David Watson, I'm not David, Derek Bevan, when he was down here, he talked about a swivel called a Invisiswivel. It's a little clear plastic swivel. And I started using that the last couple of trips, and it is great. It just does the same thing as your tippet ring, but it just pretty much eliminates line twist.
Well, I have copied your idea with the tippet ring, and I will copy that idea too. Just if you see that it works, I'm gonna get me something, I'm gonna try it.
I had ordered them from the company in Joseph Swivel. I think it's in Florida or something, but I noticed that they're in Feathercraft, the new Feathercraft catalog that just came in the mail last day. So,
Okay.
they're like 5 in a pack for $4 or $5, something like that.
So that's great. It'll help you preserve your leader material, and it'll give you something to tie on to. I think it's worth trying. You bet.
They're not easy to tie on because they tiny hole that you put your leader material and tip it through, but it can be done, and it just I'm sold on it.
Well, I think I'll use my Otlite to tie that on.
Invisible swivel.
Okay.
I am like invisible, but INVISI dash swivel, something like that.
Okay.
Don't ask me how to spell it.
So guys, if you have an iPad or if you have a regular computer, here's something that's worth looking into. There's an iPad app called Grog Knots. It's Grog, G-R-O-G.
Hey, ladies, can y'all hear up here? I think he's got something important right here.
Okay.
Talking about.
If you go to Grog Knots, it's in the App Store, and I downloaded it's $5. Okay, but then you can go to Fishing Knots, and well, let's see if you want to learn how to tie a Davy knot. Guess what? There's instructions and how to tie the Davy knot. Now, you don't have to spend $5 to buy the app. You can go to animatedknots.com. It's free, and you have the same material.
The difference between app and the website is app stays on your phone.
Yes,
So if you're anywhere where you don't have internet connection, like on the water.
or like right here for this iPad.
Yeah. You can
You
just,
know,
you'll still get that.
and this is a double Davy. But let's say let's say you don't know how to tie a snell knot. Well, guess what? Here's your instructions. And you can go.
What's that app's name, Chris?
This is called Knots by Grog. Now that's on iPad or iPhone.
By Grog?
G-R-O-G.
Sound like a pretty good app.
Yes, I did think sounds like a name for some sort of alcoholic beverage. But apparently maybe there's a Grog family. I don't know.
Mike and I've been to the Grog Bowl a few times.
Okay, and here's your surgeon's knot. The point is, there's all kinds of knots. If you're interested in learning different knots, this is a well-spent $5 or a well-spent trip to the free website that will show you how to do this.
Anybody else have a knot tying tool? There's something called a knot needle or a knot needle.
Yes.
You familiar with it?
Yes.
And those things you download to your phone. So if you forget how to tie a certain knot.
Oh, with the knot needle.
Yeah, you don't, well, yes, with the knot needle, but if you watch what the knot needle does, and you can do it with your hand, then you got it.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those. I never used it.
The knot needles, I use it for the nail knot.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I
So-
just can't hang anything else on my bed.
So, okay, any questions? Anybody have any questions?
That's a great presentation.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much. So I do have one ask, two asks actually. Number one, would you be sure to sign your name on the paper that's going around so we can be sure to send you the the page that you actually have there, that will have live YouTube links on how to get this done. And if you would also take your little bits of fly line that you have around you and stick it on the taping that I put in front of you. And that way we'll be able to get all this stuff to the trash without a lot of grief. Sir? No, you can take the hook if you want it.
Main thing is, we don't want to hack off the ladies that are so nice to give us the use of this room and take care of it.
So,
here's the old fashioned way to.
Oh.
I think on this.
okay. It's, I think Bill's got it. I think Bill has it right now. I think that's yours. I don't think it's mine.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
You want this back, Chris? No, you're welcome to keep it. Well, at least it'll be safe. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Might have to give it, go stay for a while. Stay long.